Hello fellow learners, and welcome back to another video from Learnism, where we cover content on mythology, philosophy, history, and more. Today's video is going to focus primarily on pre-colonial Nigeria. We're going to look at the pre-colonial religions, i.e. looking at African traditional religion, whilst also looking at the influence of Christianity and Islam before colonialism within the area of Nigeria. It's going to be a fun one, so I hope you enjoy it and you learn something new. Prior to the introduction of Christianity and Islam, most people within the area known as Nigeria practice African traditional religion. African traditional religion is an umbrella term encompassing various African beliefs. It would be inaccurate to present African traditional religion as a unified or standardized belief system, since African traditional religion is deeply rooted in individual communities, cultures, and histories. For example, the Yoruba tribe believe in a supreme being called Olodumare, who created everything and the concept of heaven after death, whilst many Igbo communities subscribe to the idea that people live in the spiritual replication of their village in the afterlife. With that being said, there are still many similarities shared between the different indigenous belief systems, which are essential for understanding how African traditional religions interacted with later religions, such as Christianity and Islam. One key theme that reoccurs in most African traditional religions is the belief in a supreme God, who is the creator and the ruler of the universe. The details of the nature of this being varies, but the general concept is consistent. In the Igbo tribe, the creator is called Chi. In Urhobo, God is called Ogene, and in Yoruba, God is called Oluwa or Olodumare, as I previously said. Alongside their belief in a supreme God, there is also belief in lesser divinities. These lesser divinities are usually intermediaries between people and the supreme being. These divinities, such as the Yoruba Orisha and other pantheons, rule certain aspects of the world or the universe. For example, Elegba, the Yoruba Orisha, has ownership over roads and doors, and Ogun is the god of iron and war. Another recurrent theme in African traditional religion is the veneration of ancestors. Across many Nigerian cultures, as well as African cultures more broadly, ancestors are greatly respected. Ancestors are given offerings and are believed to be involved in the everyday life within their communities. Some people view this as ancestral worship, but the extent to which this is true varies across different communities and groups. Some scholars argue that there is no ancestral worship and it's just strong respect. It's interesting to see how ancestral veneration plays a huge role in how Nigerian societies function. There seems to be a great emphasis placed on respecting your elders, who are seen as the closest to the ancestors. And so, interestingly, Nigeria seems to take this hierarchical approach to society where older people are at the top of the hierarchy. Before colonialism, both Christianity and Islam had reached Nigeria. However, their spread was much more limited than they were after colonialism. The first Christian contact in Nigeria was through trade with the Portuguese in the 15th century. Portuguese trade with the Benin Empire is an example of this trade. They mainly traded slaves, peppercorn, ivory, and palm oil in exchange for items such as guns and brass. The acquired brass was then used to create the statues and items often associated with the Benin Empire. And since Benin was often in conflict with neighboring empires, the guns were used to give them a military advantage. However, even with these interactions, Christianity was not popular within Nigeria. This came much later in the 19th century due to European Christian missionaries. Nevertheless, by 1842, the first Christian mission had been established in Nigeria by the Church Missionary Society, otherwise called CMS. The CMS established schools in Nigeria which focused on reading, writing, and speaking, and most importantly, the spread of Christianity. They also translated the Bible into local languages like Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa, and utilized the help of formerly enslaved people from Freetown in Sierra Leone, West Africa, where former slaves were sent. Nigerian rulers allowed the spread of Christianity for a few reasons. One reason was their association of the missionaries with the British. Britain had shown their military might at this point, so the rulers believed that by building strong connections with the missionaries, they would be able to attain the support of the British. However, on the northern side of Nigeria, the Christian mission was extremely limited. This is because their work coincided with the spread of Islam by the Sokoto Caliphate in northern Nigeria, which involved conquest over much of the region. The history of Islam in Nigeria long predates Christianity, dating back to the 11th century through Borno, a region in the northeast of Nigeria. For a long time, Islam was peacefully spread via Muslim clerics and traders from North Africa who engaged with the northern Nigerians in the trans-Saharan trade. However, in the 19th century, West Africa had a Muslim revival. This Muslim revival was primarily driven by the Fulani ethnic group, which became much more of a forceful change. During this period, reformist jihad was launched in northern Nigeria by a Fulani scholar and leader called Usman Dan Fodio in 1804. The primary purpose of this jihad was to counter religious syncretism, because African traditional religion had become so intertwined with Islam that Fodio, the scholar, believed it was a corruption of the religion. Fodio's jihad eventually resulted in the unification of the Hausa states under Sharia law, creating the Sokoto Caliphate. The Sokoto Caliphate is still considered a spiritual authority for Islam in Nigeria to this day. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and learned something new. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support the channel. A lot of the next few videos are going to be based around pre-colonial, colonial and post-colonial Nigerian history, as I've written my dissertation on this, and I feel like I can shed a lot of light about the mythology and the belief systems through this kind of analysis. But yeah, hopefully you tune in for more and take care.